Hello students, this is Ms. Skokin. We're in Chapter 4, Triangle Congruence, this time in Section 7, CPCTC, which I know sounds like a mouthful at the beginning, but you will get used to. Our objectives: use CPCTC to prove parts of triangles are congruent. Note that it said parts of triangles are congruent. And CPCTC is our vocabulary. It stands for corresponding parts of congruent triangles are congruent. Let's take a look at our warm-up. Question number 1 says, if triangle ABC is congruent to triangle DEF, then angle A, which is this one, is going to be congruent to angle D. We also know that segment BC is going to be congruent to segment EF. In triangle names, or any polygon names, order matters, so we need to be paying attention to the order of the letters in the name of the polygon. Question number 2 says, what is the distance between 3, 4 and -1, 5? We have a hint that says use the distance formula. You may recall the distance formula. I have listed it here. What we're going to do now is plug in the points. Remember, always start out with the formula, then show substitution, and now we can do the math. So we know -1 minus 3 gives us -4. When we square -4, we get 16. 5 minus 4 is 1. When we square 1, we get 1. We're going to say the distance then is the square root of 17. Remember that this is an exact value, and if we put that in our calculator and get an approximation, we need to either say how many decimal places we're rounding it to, or we need to show the approximately symbol instead of the equal sign. Question number 3 says use the diagram at the right. If angle 1 is congruent to angle 2, what is the reason that we can say that line A is parallel to line B? Well, we know that when we have the conclusion of two lines being parallel, it's going to be one of those converse theorems. In this case, we have alternate interior angles, so the reason that we can say that is the converse of the alternate interior angles theorem. Question number 4 says list the methods that we can use to prove two triangles are congruent. And so far what we've learned are side, 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 angle, side, angle, side, angle, 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 side, and hypotenuse leg. We can use CPCTC to justify the corresponding parts of two triangles are congruent if we already know that the triangles are congruent. So on some of these questions, we're going to be proving the triangles are congruent first, and then use CPCTC to show that parts of the triangles, corresponding parts of the triangles, are congruent. Let's take a look at example number 1. In example number 1, we've got an engineering application. It says points A and B are on the edges of a ravine. What is the length of segment AB, or the distance between the 2 points A and B? Hint, write down what we need to be able to use CPCTC. So let's see what we've got so far. We have two segments that measure 10 miles, so we know those two are congruent. We also have two segments that measure 15 miles, so we know those two are congruent. And we've got vertical angles, which make these triangles congruent because of side, angle, side. And since these triangles are congruent, then we know that the measure of between points A and B, or segment AB, is 18 miles. And we know this because of CPCTC, which means if we have two triangles that are congruent, we have two congruent triangles, then all of their corresponding parts are also congruent. So we've got an example for you to try, and I'm going to recommend you use example 1 as a guide, and you pause the video, try it out, and then turn the video back on when you are ready to check your work. So turn the video off now. All right, so we had two triangles. We see that we have some angles that are congruent. We have some length, one length that is congruent on both. So we're able to prove that the two triangles are congruent using angle side angle, and that allows us to say that the corresponding parts are also congruent. That means that segment AB is going to be congruent to segment ED, which is 600 feet long. That was told to us in the question. So we are able to find the length of AB, 600 feet. That brings us to example 2, which says proving corresponding parts are congruent. So we have some information that is given to us. The question starts out by saying segment AB is congruent to segment DC, and we have the tick marks to demonstrate that. Then it says angle ABC is congruent to angle DCB. So I'm going to mark those angles as congruent. Now these are the big angles, not one of the little ones. What we are trying to prove is angle A is congruent to angle D. Sometimes when we have these diagrams with combined figures, it's a little bit hard to read what's going on. So it may be useful to us to color in the triangle so we can see what's what. In this case, we have a triangle ABC, which I'm coloring in orange, and we also have another triangle that I have just outlined in green. Okay, let's take a look at our statements. We start out with the statement that segment AB is congruent to segment DC. We can see that that was given to us in the beginning. And this actually is one of the sides that the two triangles have in common, or I shouldn't say have in common, but are congruent to both triangles. So that's giving us one of the sides. Next, we have angle ABC is congruent to angle DCB, and those angles being congruent, not only was that given to us, but it's also something that those two triangles have congruent. So that's one of our angles. And last of all, we have on number 3, reflexive property of congruence. We remember that that means it's going to be the same thing as congruent to the same thing. In this case, we can see that this segment BC is shared by both triangles. So segment BC is congruent to segment CB, and it's okay to write BC also, but we can see that the triangles are kind of reflections of one another, so that's why I've reversed the order of the points. That is the last side that we need to be able to prove that triangle ABC is congruent to triangle DCB. And now we can claim that angle A, this is what we wanted to claim from the very beginning, this is what we wanted to prove, angle A is congruent to angle D by CPCTC, because corresponding parts of congruent triangles are congruent. We have two congruent triangles, and the corresponding parts, points A and D, or angles A and D, are congruent to one another. Here's an example for you to try, and let's just set it up before you turn off the video, and then you can try to work on this on your own. So to begin with, we have two triangles, one on the left and one on the right. I am going to color one of them in just to make it a little bit easier to look at. In our given information, we see that segment YW bisects segment XZ. That means Y is halfway between X and Z, and another way of looking at it is now we have two segments, XW and ZW, that are congruent to one another. The next bit of information that is given to us is that segment XY is congruent to segment YZ. So those two tick marks allows us to see on our diagram that we have congruent segments. So far, out of the 3 segments on the triangle, we have 2 pairs of congruent sides. Not only that, we have a shared side. So really, we have all 3 sides are congruent to all 3 sides on the other triangle. What do we want to prove? We want to prove that angle XYW is congruent to angle ZYW. So just a hint, our strategy is definitely going to be a side strategy. Go ahead and turn the video off, try to fill all of these statements and reasons out, and then turn the video back on when you're ready to check your answers and move on to example 3. This was a Now You Try, so hopefully once you were set up, you really had some comfort filling in these statements. If you have questions, remember to bring them to class and we'll go over them together. In example number 3, the given information is segment NO is parallel to segment MP. Remember that our symbol for parallel is those little arrows. The other bit of information that's given to us is that angle N is congruent to angle P, and we show angle congruence with arc marks. We're trying to prove that segments MN and OP are parallel. And just as before, I'm going to color in one of the triangles just so it's a little bit easier for us to look at this diagram. As we're looking at this, we remember parallel lines with a transversal going through them, such as segment MO, create alternate interior angles that are congruent. So that means we have, let's see here, MON and angle OMP that are congruent because they are alternate interior angles. And as we look back on our diagram now, we see that we have 2 consecutive angles and we have a common side, a shared side, which is segment MO, to the 2 triangles. That means that we have an angle side situation, and that's what we're going to that'll be our strategy for proving these 2 triangles are congruent. So in statement number 1, we've got angle N is congruent to angle P. Of course, that was information that was given to us in the problem. And that's the first angle that we're going to need to prove congruence. The next statement says angle NOM is congruent to angle PMO. We just mark those in pink on our diagram, and we know that that is true because of the alternate interior angles theorem. And that's our second angle. Next, we have statement number 3 that says segment NO is parallel to segment MP, and that was given to us in the problem. In statement number 4, we're going to try to finish off our angle side congruence, and that means that we need to be able to make the statement that segment MO is congruent to segment OM by the reflexive property of congruence, and that's our last side. So now we have proven that our 2 triangles are congruent by angle side using steps 1, 2, and 4. We know that corresponding parts of congruent triangles are congruent, and there's only one angle that we haven't touched on. That is these 2 little angles that I'm going to mark with 3 arc marks. And of course, that means that angle NMO is congruent to angle POM by CPCTC. And if those angles are congruent, then we have managed to prove by the converse of the alternate interior angles theorem, we have managed to prove that segments NM and PO are parallel. On the next page is a Now You Try, and you can use example number 3 as a guide. When you're ready to check your answers, you are going to turn the video back on. Remember, it's all in the setup, so take your time setting it up before you start trying to fill out the statements. Doctor up your diagram so that it indicates all the given information and helps you think of a strategy. And then turn the video back on. See you back in a minute. The key to this proof was recognizing that we had a side angle side because in our 2 triangles, we had 2 pairs of congruent sides and the included angles. That brings us to example number 4. Example number 4 is titled Using CPCTC in the Coordinate Plane. We've been given 2 sets of points, ABC and DEF, that presumably are 2 triangles. We can graph them. We have a grid here. It's not required, but sometimes it does help us see what's going on. And what we are going to need to do, however, in order to prove that these two angles, ABC and DEF, are congruent, is we're going to first need to prove that the two triangles are congruent. And because all we've got are coordinate pairs, that means we're going to need to use a distance formula to find the distances between the points. Another way of saying that is the lengths of each of the sides of the triangles, and then compare them. So I'm going to get started by graphing the two triangles just so that we have them to look at. You can pause the video now and graph the two triangles yourself on the provided grid. Now we can get started setting up all of our distance formulas. Let's start with the distance between points A and B. We find the distance or the length of segments AB, BC, and CA. For the pink triangle, we have those three lengths, and now what we need to do is the same thing for the three sides of the blue triangle. So we're going to find those three distances, and then we're going to compare. So you can pause the video and set out to work on the distance between the blue triangle's points. Turn the video back on when you're ready to check your work. As we look at the lengths of the different segments on the two triangles, we can see that they do have the three side lengths all congruent. So we're going to write some congruency statements, and segment AB is congruent to segment DE. Segment BC is congruent to segment EF. Last of all, segment CA is congruent to segment FD. What we've done is prove that triangle ABC is congruent to triangle DEF by the side postulate of congruence, and that means that angle ABC is congruent to angle DEF by CPCTC. Remember, what we wanted to prove is angle B compared to angle E. That brings us to a now you try on the next page. Good luck, and turn the video back on when you're ready to check your work on the now you try. Remember that you may want to start with graphing the triangles, but it's not required, and you can go straight to the distance formula if you would like to. See you back in a minute. So although these questions are not a lot of fun, they are also not very hard. They just are a little bit tedious. But this brings us to the end of our section 4.7, and it's time for you to get started on your homework. I'll see you back in class.